assess the client's level of consciousness for us to determine the client's ability to cooperate with the procedure. We can also ask them, how are you, or what are you feeling today? And we have to check the client's medical records for any previous history of nostril surgery, injury, or unusual nostril bleeding. And it serves as a caution for the nurse to evaluate the risk to benefit ration from tube insertion. We also have to instruct the client to breathe through each nostril for occluding the other with a finger to facilitate choice of nostril and decrease chance that tube will interfere with respirations. We have to assemble all equipment to organize materials, facilitate easy access and performance of the procedure. And as you can see, the client is in high Fowler position. Then place a small towel over the patient's chest. Wash our hands and don gloves to prevent spread of microorganisms and to protect the nurse from any secretions. Using the NG tube, we have to measure the distance from the tip of the nose to the earlobe and then to the xiphoid process of the sternum and mark this distance on the tube with a piece of tape. Advance the tube to the narrow several inches at a time as the patient swallows water or ice chips. For the rationale of this, it assists in advancing the tube through oropharynx, and the action of swallowing facilitates the insertion of the tube. With each swallow, the tracheal opening is closed to prevent aspiration. You have to secure the tube with tape to prevent tube displacement. And then auscultate the epigastric area. Then aspartate for gastric contents. We also have to assess the color and quality of the content if required, measured with pH indicator strip. And now we have to prepare the patient for X-ray. And then as we proceed with the gastric lavage, we have to pinch the proximal end of the feeding tubes. And then as we pinch the proximal end of the ending feeding tube, we have to attach barrel of 50 ml enteral syringe to pinch off feeding tube, and then fill the barrel of syringe with formula and elevate it to 18 inches above the client's head. Then pour additional formula into the barrel of syringe when it's 3/4 and then after administering the prescribed amount of formula, flush tubing with at least 30 cc water. And then after feeding, we have to cover the end of the feeding tube and the client with for plug 30 to 40 minutes, 40 minutes with the head elevation like this po, to prevent aspiration. As we proceed to the procedure, the next is gastric lavage, and then we have to attach a 50 ml barrel syringe to the end of the tube, and then elevate the funnel to the pinch tube, and then elevate the funnel 18 inches above the client's head, and then pour approximately 150 to 200 ml of saline or prescribed solution, and then lower the funnel and siphon the gastric contents into the bucket or meses basin for us to save samples of first two washing. And then we have to repeat the lavage procedure until the returns are relatively clear and no particular matter is seen. For unblocking an enteral feeding tube, we can administer 50 ml of warm water down the enteral tube and leave for 30 minutes. And then flush the tube with 50 ml water to remove blockage. And then flush tube with 50 ml water to remove blockage. And then if unsuccessful, we can try to administer 50 ml of freezy water or soda water. And then we have to prevent the use of syringe smaller than 50 ml. And then if all of the above are unsuccessful, the enteral tube should be replaced to ensure continued enteral access for administration of food. And then we can all dispose all waste materials and wash hands to prevent contamination or microorganisms. And then we have to monitor the patient's nutritional status and overall response with the procedure. And then we have to document the procedure and the response of the patient. It provides legal record for continuity of care.